we rely so much on our starters, but in the middle of all these back-to-backs, when your bench can give you that kind of production, energy, defense, offense, whatever you want to call it, you have a chance to be a pretty good basketball team.
That is what we talked about with Michael Malone's Nuggets, that their depth is certainly their strength. And boy, was it on display last night when Jamal Murray went out with an ankle injury already. Paul Millsap was out. Gary Harris was out. But, hey, no problem. 19 points from MPJ, 15 from Mason Plumlee. And how about P.J. Dozier, who made his debut after coming up from the G League, and he ends up scoring 14 points. So I still believe, Mark, that, and Jeff Van Gundy, when they were on last week, he was saying that the Nuggets might be in a position as they move deeper into the season where Tim Connelly might want to try to pull off like a 2-for-1 trade, sort of ease some of the logjam of players that they have to try to pick up like more of a difference-making player, because when you get to the playoffs, coaches typically want to shorten rotations, not expand them.
Right. Normally, what do you have? Maybe a top 9-man rotation, 8-man rotation.
At most. Really, you want about 8.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The fact that you have that many guys, that's and you have that kind of depth, that's a good thing. What was the prognosis? Did we hear anything on the? I can't say the Blue Arrow, can I?
Well, you just did.
Did we hear anything about Murray's ankle? Do we know?
He's probably not going to play tonight, day to day. But he's shown an ability to bounce back pretty quick. He's pretty tough. But this and tonight, a good test for this team. Their strength is their depth. Their weakness this season has been their immaturity, because they have played down to their competition too often this year, back-to-back on the road at Golden State, who is simply horrific. So we'll see if they just go out there and take care of business. Doesn't have to be pretty, but are they mature enough to go out there and take care of business? We shall find out. Next on the Morning Brew.
Lock, end zone, touchdown! Number 2 for Sutton.
Courtland Sutton is going to the Pro Bowl as he gets to take the place of DeAndre Hopkins. You got to love these Pro Bowl alternates,
Uh-huh.
You got the rosters that are named, and then you got about eventually like 80 guys end up getting to call themselves Pro Bowlers because everybody backs out. But, hey, he's a Pro Bowler, right?
Yeah. Well,
goes down as a line drive in the box score.
That's right. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, Mike. Good for Courtland Sutton. It's cool for the Broncos to have that guy represent the Broncos in the Pro Bowl. That's awesome. Hopefully that just continues to help him grow from a confidence standpoint and also from just a knowledge standpoint, being around other Pro Bowlers. So I don't have any problem with it. I think it's exciting.
Okay, so you got Sutton to build around as your number one. Where are they at with the rest of their receivers? Do you see potential with the group that includes Deshaun Hamilton, Tim Patrick, or whether it's through free agency or the draft, they should be on the lookout for 2, 3 wide receivers?
I think they should be in the lookout. Now, I don't know what's going to happen or what, how they're going to continue to, progress and continue to develop and all those things. But what I see is, a nice core of 3s and 4s that you've built. Maybe 4s and 5s that you've built. So, do I think there needs to be an influx of talent? Yeah. Like, I think you're okay. Like, if Deshaun Hamilton becomes your number 4 or Patrick becomes your number 4, I think you're in good shape.
Right.
I think that's good.
Right.
But I don't think Deshaun's your number 2 or Tim Patrick's your number 2. If that makes sense, does that make sense?
Well, before we get to the draft, free agency is kind of – there are a couple names out there.
Okay.
That I'm going to toss out at you that you have worked games involving these guys.
Okay.
Okay. How does Brashard Perriman strike you as a veteran number 2 opposite Courtland Sutton?
I think he's been inconsistent. I think he's been inconsistent. I think he's I'll just say that. He's been inconsistent. He's okay, but he's not one of those guys that just jumps off the – he's not a guy that just jumps off the map for me.
All right. What about Danny Amendola?
Danny Amendola, really good inside route runner, knows, really understands the game, not going to run away from anybody, limited athletically. That's kind of a good third down, underneath target, run away from coverage, understand the coverage, and, won't get fooled by that stuff.
All right. Lukewarm endorsement right there. Let me give you one more. What about a return for Cody Latimer? Former second-round pick, has spent a couple of years in the Shermer offense with the Giants, and has had some decent production the last couple of years. Had 24 catches this year, 300 yards.
The guy that you said first, Brashard Perriman out of Tampa, now, remember, he's a former number one. I think he got picked by – I think he was a Baltimore guy. I've done a couple of games of his where he was really outside. He can run. Now, this dude lift the top of coverage. Like, he is legit that way. He would be the one that would intrigue me the most. But again, the lack of consistency. You're 26 years old, you are a first rounder, and you're already off your first team, onto your second team, and you're a free agent. What does that tell you about, the career arc of Brashard Perriman?
Next on the Morning Brew.
Baker Mayfield starts at his own 10.5-yard line. Here's Mayfield throwing, and it's Odell Beckham Jr. in the clear. 35, 40, he's to the 50, he's running to the 40, he's going into the end zone. 10, 5, touchdown, he's arrived back in the end zone at MetLife Stadium.
Browns radio. I'm going to use a term you invented the other day on Twitter, dumassery. It's dumbassery, leaving out the B, dumassery.
Yes.
Is that what Odell Beckham Jr. is guilty of after he was on the field after LSU won the championship, handing out cash?
Right.
And I love the statement from LSU, their athletic department. We have been in contact with the NCAA and the SEC immediately upon learning of the situation, which some of our student athletes, I love how they call them student athletes, may have been placed in a compromising position.
You think?
Joe Burrow said, hey, I'm not a student athlete anymore. As soon as that game ended, I was done being a student athlete. What'd you think of OBJ handing out cash on the field?
I love celebrating somebody else's success. I love that. It doesn't happen often enough. To really celebrate somebody else's success like it's your own success. When you start pulling out wads of cash, you are a moth to a camera that is only looking out for his own brand and his own ability to influence on Instagram. That's as close as long as he continues to have that type of attitude and that type of thought process, that's as close to a championship as Odell Beckham Jr. will ever get.
I saw a lot of former LSU players down out there and down on the field, and they were genuinely enjoying the experience, and I'm all for that. But you're right. This is a guy that just wanted to make the moment about himself. And, dude, you're not there anymore. You've been out of LSU for years.
Right.
It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. You're the guy that's 5 years out of high school still showing up at the high school parties with your Letterman jacket on.
Well, you know what? You're right. You're the 22-year-old saying, hey, man, I'm throwing a keg over at my apartment.
Right.
For you 18-year-olds.
Man.
He's
Gary Pepitone.
He is.
We all had one of those.
He is just such a toolbox. And the fact that people can't get over, hey, well, the NCAA is exploiting kids. Yeah. That's the system is, you know how I feel, and you and I are on opposite sides. There is exploitation there. There's no question. But, hey, listen, just because there's exploitation there doesn't mean that you can do something that's wrong also. and compromising kids' eligibility and everything else. I mean,
Well, let's not kid ourselves. This was not Odell Beckham Jr. saying, I really feel for the plight of the student athlete.
Right.
And I'm going
Like,
to make sure that I make a
Exactly.
statement about. No, this was just him about elevating himself. What a tool.
That's
what a tool
he
box.
is. I can't. It does irritate me.
All right, that'll do it for the Morning Brew.